Hello, CM World. I am Monina Wagner. I am the Community Manager for the Content Marketing Institute, and this is Beyond the Chat, where I introduce you to some of the most remarkable marketers, and that would be the guest of our CM World Twitter chat. Welcome. If you have followed us over from Twitter, thank you so much. And if you're new, I would like to welcome you as well. Content Marketing Institute, our mission is to advance the practice of content marketing. We do that with our daily blogs, with our consulting work, with our events. We hope you'll join us for Content Marketing World and Content Tech Summit. And we do it with our live streams like this. So I don't think I have ever been this nervous for an episode of Beyond the Chat. And that is because our guest, she and I go back like way, way back. Today, our guest is Amanda Subler. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, why are you nervous? It's because we chat every day like this.
Well, so you were my producer in TV, so you're the one who has like a really good way of words, and I'm just me.
No. I couldn't do what I do without you as the assignment editor back then.
Well, I think when I say way back, I mean, we're talking weddings, we're talking babies, we're talking jobs, and fun fact for everyone, Amanda moved to my hometown and she actually now lives down the street from where I grew up. So it's like we were meant to be friends.
I know. I think it's like 3 houses down. You're like, you asked me one time where I live, like after I'd been here for like, I don't know how many years. And you're like, where do you live in Solon? And I said, what street? And she was like, oh my God, I lived 3 houses down. I was like, so weird. So weird.
It is a small world. Well, you are an amazing producer, right? You are an award-winning journalist, which I don't know if a lot of people know. And because of it, like you've had some really awesome assignments, like just so cool. I think you and I have worked on Rock Hall inductions. We've worked on elections. We're talking breaking news. I mean, we've done it all together, which is so great. But there has to be like one highlight, like one, like this is the top, this is the best of the best for me career moment. So what would that be for you?
That by far has to be when I got to go to the White House for an interview with President Obama. So that was a super awesome. Back when Obama was president, he was like very media savvy. So they would, I think every few months, they would invite like 4 or 5 local news crews, maybe from like 5 different markets. And so it was never like 2 TV stations in the same market. So it was one TV station from like 5 different markets. And they would invite them to the White House for a one-on-one interview with the president. So you got to bring an anchor, a reporter, and somebody else, usually a producer with you. So, I mean, that was a great media strategy because if you're a local news station, you're like, oh my God, we have, you're promoting the heck out of that. We got this one-on-one exclusive sit-down interview with President Obama. So, I mean, it was a great media strategy because you got that kind of coverage in whatever market you were like. I know for sure it was Cleveland, and then I know Detroit was there too. I can't remember where the other ones were. But I went with our local news anchor, Ramona Robinson, and we got to go to the White House. It was super cool. The place is really old. Like you don't even think about like how old that building is. I mean, there's like peeling paint. I don't know. It was just like a really interesting experience. And they brought these chairs into the room, and they were like chairs you'd have at like your grandma's house, but those were really, really old. You were not allowed to sit on those. But then they brought some that were maybe, I don't know, 40 years not newer, but they were still 40 years old. You could sit on these, but it wasn't like a folding chair. It was a very interesting experience. And we just waited our turn to go into the small little room right next door. They had like a pool camera situation. So they already had the camera of the same camera guy, and they just gave you the video when you were done. But they had a little bathroom in there. So we were like teeny tiny little bathroom in these rooms in the White House. So we went in the bathroom, and they had the towels, the paper towels you use to like dry your hands were like these really nice quality paper towels, and they had like the symbol, the presidential. So we like took those.
So did you take one?
Souvenirs. We got souvenir because they were like really nice. They're paper towels, but really nice paper towels, and they had the symbol on them. So yeah, I should have brought that down with me. I have it upstairs, my presidential, not toilet paper, but my presidential paper towel. And then it was just really cool just to, like, you knew he was coming because all of a sudden there was like 15 Secret Service guys at the door and the hall lining up the hallway. And, you know, I was just in the room like 4 feet away from him while Ramona was interviewing him. So that was probably the career highlight for me, for sure. And then with CMI, we did, I don't know if you want to talk about this now, the documentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
It was really cool. We did I shot a documentary for the Content Marketing Institute. Joe's like, hey, you want to do a documentary? Joe Polizzi. And I was like, I've never done one before, but sure, sounds like fun. It's like a bucket list item. So we kind of had to figure out how to do all that. And we traveled the country, and we went to Europe and shot some video over there. And I'd never been to Europe, so that was super awesome. So that was a really, all around, that whole experience was awesome. Just learning the process of creating a documentary, and then like the budgeting, the scheduling, like booking flights and the logistics and everything. So that was a really fascinating experience as well.
We'll talk about that. So you went from TV news into producing this huge documentary for CMI. Like, how different was that for you? Was that transition really different?
I mean, I think the basics, you know, you're always a producer, I guess. So, I mean, it's not like every day when you're producing a news show, you have to have it done by 6 o'clock every single day, no matter what, or you'll get fired, right? So there's no daily deadline. So you have a little more time to think and to plan, and, you know, what's the story we want to tell. So that part of it was definitely different. And overall, it just seemed like a bigger project because we were doing like an hour plus film, which is really a lot to shoot and plan. So it was a little different. Yes, for sure.
I know for me, with, you know, when we worked together in the newsroom, I love that adrenaline rush, right? That's just, I lived for that. Like, that was just, there's just something about that feeling. And I never expected that when I left school and, you know, went into news. So what was it about TV news? Was it, you know, video? Was it the writing? What made you start on your storytelling path?
I like to write. I love the news. My parents always had it on, which was probably not a good thing when I was a kid, but we always had the news on. My parents were always reading the newspaper. So I love the news in general. And then it was just, I enjoyed telling stories through video. I think it's such a powerful medium. So that's why I never went into print journalism. I just really connected with the idea of using video to tell stories. So that's why I got into that. But I know I told Joe Polizzi and Pam, who started the company, that yes, I've been in like every breaking news situation you could possibly imagine, but nothing is as stressful as the week of content marketing world, when I'm trying to like shoot and interview like 50 different people and be at 5 different places at one time. And I said, nothing has ever been as stressful as that. Like, it was just so funny because I've done so many breaking news, and maybe because I got used to it and I was in the moment, but I'm like, that week of content marketing world is probably more stressful than any breaking news situation. So
I would agree.
Yeah, and I was surprised by that, but it's just the planning. We're not doing live video, but just the planning, and just you have that 4 days to get everything you absolutely need basically for the rest of the year. So it was just a stress. It is just as stressful as that. So I guess breaking news and TV news prepared me for content marketing world.
Well, okay, so that prepared you for CM World, but what about your other work with CMI? Because you're also doing a lot of our media relations, our public relations efforts all begin with you. So was that something, did you ever think you'd get out of news and kind of move into a PR or media relations role?
No, that was never I guess I never had, most people do that. Like that's their after TV plan, but when I went into TV, I never had an after TV plan. I just assumed I would always stay in it. But it just didn't work out that way. I loved doing it for a really long time. And then I just didn't love doing it anymore. And you have to really love to do that job to put up with the crappy hours and the stress that we're talking about. So I just didn't love it anymore, and it just really wasn't worth it. So I didn't really have a plan afterwards. And I just sort of fell in with Joe and Pam, and it went from there. But I think that when you're a journalist, you have a unique perspective when you get into the PR communications world, because you know what a journalist is thinking, what their day looks like for the most part, what kind of stories they're looking for. And a lot of PR people don't have that because they just went into PR and not the media. So you definitely bring a unique perspective when you go into that job.
Well, you kind of touched upon, it's a weird transition, but I promise I'll get there. So with Beyond the Chat, we started the show because I always felt like 7 questions in the Twitter chat was never enough to get to know our guests. So we came up with Beyond the Chat, and I have your final question.
Not about this. Dang it.
Ready. So you had mentioned, your love for a job and having good bosses and someone who'll take care of you. So this is easy. A lot of us aren't able to travel right now. But if CMI were to give you time off, which we hate giving her time off because she's so wonderful and does so much for us. But if you were to be given time off, where would be your ultimate vacation destination? Where would you be headed tomorrow?
If I had all the money in the world?
Sure.
I would love to go. I hate the cold, so it has to be someplace warm. So I would love to go someplace like Hawaii, because it's warm and beautiful. So that's like on my bucket list. So hopefully I can go there someday. For some reason, my kids think I'm going to take them there. I don't understand why you take us to Hawaii someday. And I was like, what? No one took me to Hawaii when I was your age. So yeah, it has to be someplace warm and beautiful with a beach and some ocean.
See, you're going to have to take them, because I actually took my daughter when she was 3 to Hawaii, and she still talks about it. Yes. But it was only because it was a huge birthday milestone for me. So I took her with me. My sister lived there at the time. So I didn't have this all resort, but it was good enough for me. It was beaches every day.
Yes, it's beautiful there. So I think that would be it. Anything to get out of this eternal winter.
A few more months.
That sounds terrible.
You live in Cleveland. Aren't you used to it yet?
I know, but I'm a transplant, so I can tell my husband I'm ready to go someplace south where it's a little bit warmer.
Nope, you can't leave me.
I don't think I'm leaving anytime soon.
Well, Amanda, thank you so much for being our guest on the Twitter chat, for being our guest on the show today. I am so happy that everyone got to meet you.
No. Thank you. I'll just say thank you.
So Amanda is the host. Well, it is fun. And what also is fun is on Mondays, Amanda is the host of Ask the CMI Team, which is a weekly show where we introduce you to other Content Marketing Institute team members who, if you have questions about with Amanda, public relations, or maybe it's about video. We sometimes talk about our predictions. We talk about creativity. We hit upon everything that our team specializes in. And if you have questions, we'd love to see you. I know Amanda would love it as well.
I would, yes. Join us, please.
Well, with that, I am Monina Wagner. That is Amanda Subler. This is Beyond the Chat. Be safe, take care, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.